Hey guys, and welcome back to StarMade. This is Surge, and first off, I'm just gonna come out and say, hey, I apologize for a lengthy delay on this video update. I've been a little preoccupied with some work and some personal stuff, so I'm also kind of trying to think of some other games to play on this channel, as I'm getting a little burnt out just playing StarMade a lot, and that's actually where I've been, not doing videos. I've been playing other games. And I don't want to stop doing this YouTube thing because I'm really enjoying it and I'm really enjoying your guys' opinions you give me. And if playing another game means I'm going to broaden my audience, then by all means. If there's any games you'd like to see me play, please let me know. I'm sort of thinking about doing a Let's Play of Fallout 4. I know it's an older game now, but I have this idea. I want to do sort of a peaceful run. I know it's nothing new, and I know plenty of people have done it before. But I think it'd be an interesting play. A lot of fun. I've just gotten to about level 66-ish, playing purely vanilla survival, which has been a lot of fun, a lot of challenge. But that's not what you're here for, guys. What you guys are actually here for is, of course, another ship. Sorry, not ship review, not today. We're doing a quick tips tutorial. This one is actually going to be a little bit more accurate to the name of the video. It's going to actually be it's going to exactly be what I just said. It's going to be a quick tips. We're not going to talk about how to make stuff. Rather, I'm going to give you guys some quick tips on what I like to call varying your palette, which I think is going to help you a lot if you're having trouble working out how to get yourself and your ships to another level, I guess, of design, I guess. Now, this is what what we're about to cover is something that I don't do actually a lot of myself, but I see a lot of other ship builders do it, and it's something I definitely admire because it does make life a lot easier for you, especially on certain builds you might do. Now, I know I'm just kind of messing with the lights in here. I haven't messed with those in a while, and ever since an update ago, they all turned off, which is not fun. But yeah, so we're going to start the video off, and we're going to talk about system blocks. Now, as you guys already know, there's lots of blocks in the game that exist purely for the purpose of looking pretty and applying very little a mass or any other real effect to the ship. And that's important because interior will definitely affect the overall weight of the ship, I guess. Now, that's all well and good, and we do know that there is plans in the future to have practically weightless interior blocks, which are going to be a load of help. But in the meantime, and probably even in the future, my advice is kind of making use of the existing system blocks we have as interior. Now, I know lots of people do this already, but I'm gonna probably promote doing it on a much larger scale. And a lot of the greater builders out there actually do this already. It's something that I don't do enough of, and it's definitely something I'm gonna recommend everybody does in the future. And that's simply using these blocks in front of you, because we got quite a choice of blocks here. All different designs, little tiny textures, that really change how the ship can look. Now, obviously, this isn't all of them. I just kind of slapped a bunch down just to give you guys an idea. But one block. See these full blocks right here? That's one block. That is the teleporter module. Now, teleporter is not the one I want to recommend the most since it's not the block. There's a reason. There's a method to the madness here. But there's not really a reason to use the teleporter block a lot. It does look awesome. It can make a lot of really cool patterns and designs, especially with this flaw. I think that makes actually a really cool flaw, or even ceiling. I think actually make a better ceiling. Walls, it makes great walls as well. But the thing is what I actually want to talk about is making use of the limited space you have, especially in smaller ships. Now, in a station, you don't have to worry so much about systems because it's a station. You don't have to worry about it flying around. You don't have to worry about too much mass because it's stationary. So what we're going to talk about, I guess, is the ability to make use of blocks that are definitely going to give your ship use and enhance the ship's overall use, whilst also looking very aesthetically pleasing. So as you can come along here, you can see stuff like thrusters, you got jump modules. Jump modules are cool because they're animated, and a couple of these blocks along here will be animated, especially with the awesome textures by Kupu. This is just amazing. So I like to point out the thruster. Thruster's a tricky one. You've just got to remember that you don't want to be facing the thruster's thrust, the plume. So you want to make sure that's facing. You really only want to use it for the back walls and the side walls. You never use it for the front wall, because if the side of it, like if we're facing the front, if this is a ship, let's say, and this is the front of the ship that way, there's the port, there's the starboard, and that's the rear. If we're seeing that, obviously the plume will be coming out the back, and unless there's a block covering that, you're gonna see that plume unless you've got plumes turned off, and then there's no guarantee that other people don't have plumes turned off. So my advice is just skip that entirely if you can. Moving on a bit though, we've got other blocks here. Now these are weapons blocks. You got pulse, you've got shield drain, you got shield recharge, I think. You got astrotech, missiles, and then you got your effect modules. Now, all of these are very pretty. I mean, they're absolutely adorable. But you can also see, this is something I want to point out as well, some of these mesh really well together. Like these, obviously individual blocks, but the textures line up perfectly, which allows for a wall, or a walling effect. Really good if you're using the textures appropriately because they click together. It also works with a lot of similar blocks to each other, like shield modules and shield generators. As you can see, the shield modules click together to make an almost seamless effect. And you can see that along the lines of other blocks entirely. So it's important to know what blocks can achieve what, because that's ultimately going to change a lot about what you can achieve in your design. And imagining different things for different purposes are going to definitely help you out a lot as well. So like I really like the back of, well actually these two blocks here. So you got the Astrotech beam, or front face of the beam, and you've got the back of the missile block right here. I like the back of the missile block because it kind of looks like some sort of like emergency plate, or behind there's something very vital to the ship's performance, and that can really make that can really add I guess an extra bit of flair to the inside of a smaller ship. Like that's the small reactor or something that powers the ship, or that's where the fuel tank is or something, right under the seat or somewhere really important. Whereas this one here makes a really cool, more for the roleplay, I guess, but I think this almost makes a really cool kind of like capsule disposal or vending machine slot or something along those lines. I'm not sure what I would recommend it as. I mean, that's purely up to your imagination. And the same can be said about all the different barrels, I guess you can. Yeah, the barrels. Now, I know they are barrels of guns and they're supposed to be, you're supposed to not stand in front of them and not stick your hands or other body parts inside of them. And that's obvious. That's, you shouldn't do that. But a lot of the times people won't use those as the actual barrel. A lot of times, like myself for instance, you'll actually build your own barrel, use your own imagination to actually make it look different. Now that has obviously some exceptions, like actually that's not really even an exception here. Like you can see the barrels behind the crystal, but that's not the intention. You don't actually need to see the barrels. So a lot of people will actually just ignore using the barrel block textures, and it kind of goes unnoticed. But if they're actually going to be a gun, you're not going to be using them there anyway. So let's just wander this way a little bit further, and I want to show you guys something. This is a really simple wall. As you can see, I really like the Gerda texture. It's one of my favorite textures to use for walls, for floors, for roofs, for anywhere that I just don't have anything to put. And it looks good because they also tessellate like this, which makes a really good effect. But if you come along a bit further, you've got this wall that I made, and it's really simple. I've used missiles. I've used missiles there on either end, and I've used the whatever the green, and I think that's overdrive. So I've used the overdrive enhancer block right there. So it's kind of created this wall, nothing impressive. Now this, you could do what you like with this. I just slapped that together in about 5 seconds just to give you an example. Now the cool thing about the missiles is they have arrows on them. And the arrows do point either way. You can point them left or right, which makes it really good if you're trying to direct people around a hall. So you could even run just in a single line of arrows directing people to the destination they're supposed to go. A lot of people use colored lines along the floor. I think it'd be really cool if people started to adopt these because they got the arrows on them. I've seen people do the same thing with docking modules, but I just think that's something that I haven't seen anybody do yet. In fact, it's not even something I do, so it's definitely something I will be using in the future. But from this is just a flat wall, two-dimensional almost, and you don't get a lot of real effect with it, so what you can start to do is you can start to mix it with the 3D images and the 3D objects we have in the game, and actually make it give it some kind of purpose. Make it look like it belongs in your ship as some sort of entity. Now I'm going to quickly turn on the HUD really quick, just so you guys can see what I'm about to do. So, well, actually, no, not really. I don't need to do anything. But as you can see, if I select that Canon computer right there, I've got these two computers here that are hooked up to it. So obviously I got the Ion Effect computer and another Canon computer. And imagine this would be sort of like a rapid-fire cannon. Now, the reason I'm suggesting use system modules, especially weapon modules, inside as your interior is because it's going to be those modules that act as support modules or support systems for the main gun. Obviously, you can imagine there's going to be like a gun somewhere on the ship that's linked up to this Canon computer. Now, ultimately, that's irrelevant. That's somewhere else in the ship. What is, however, relevant is the fact that somewhere else in the inside of the ship, you have to actually put these Canon and Ion Effect supporter blocks. And where else better to put them but as interior inside the ship? Now this may change in the future, as I'm not 100% certain whether that'll affect heat or anything like that, how that's going to be a thing in the future. But for right now, as you can see, I've got the Ion modules here for support and the Canon modules there. And it's created a sort of like a, I don't know, again, I just put this together really quickly. In fact, this is actually my first time messing with these grates and pipes, so I'm actually really liking this. But as you can see, even on the roof there, you've got these pipes that are kind of leading into the cannons as if they're some kind of like socket, which I think looks pretty good. You've got the support kind of looking like they're like a big tank full of some sort of fluid or energy or something, and then you kind of got like a vent happening up here. And this is just what I mean. This is all using that interior systems, but making use of the space that you have. Now you can sort of imagine that inside of a smaller ship where the ship's maybe really tiny and doesn't have a lot of real room for interior, but you really want to use that interior space well, rather than just kind of well, a good example, obviously this isn't a ship, but this is a really good example. But like up in here, that's a really bad example actually. let me find a good example here really quick. As a station, so I can't. Anyway, so I don't really have it. I guess this works. As you can see, I've used a lot of blocks, a lot of hull for interior thing, and I could easily have used this space for system blocks, and especially if this is the only interior, like if this this room that we're in right now was the only interior this ship had, that's a lot of wasted space for blocks. You could easily have filled that with systems, even just shield blocks or something. Now you don't want to get carried away and just have nothing but shield blocks or just one system. It's important to know aesthetically pleasing layouts and choosing the right designs. You don't want to just be one of those guys who have no interior, it's just all systems, and you're literally just walking through shield blocks after shield blocks, because honestly that's just dull, it's boring. It's also quite hard on the eyes. I mean, those things blink a lot, and that's just not fun, sitting there walking through an entire ship whose walls look like something like this. That can be, yeah, that can really play some tricks on the mind. So anyway, guys, this has been some quick tips. I guess we're gonna call this the systems system secrets secret system service. I don't know. sort of like a quick and easy way, making use of that interior decoration using system blocks. It's honestly something I don't see enough of in a lot of builders. A lot of the better builders definitely use this. I mean, I don't. A lot of my builds revolve around interiors heavily, and it's definitely something I should definitely adopt. I've got a mate of mine, Shaker, working on the interior of the breaker down there. He's got a copy of it, and he's just gutting it. He's absolutely emptying the entire thing. Now, that's gone from being a 1.8 million block ship to something far less. I think it's down to like a couple hundred K or something like that. Something ridiculously small. Probably, I think it's about 400K. Obviously, this isn't the copy that he has. This one's being ravaged by another ship that I'm going to do a ship review on shortly, called the Hades Roar by Blitzwing. And yeah, guys, this has been it. I guess if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. If you want to know anything more particular about how to do this, how to do that, how to achieve a certain look, please let me know, because I'm more than happy to answer as best as I can. And hey, if I don't have the answer, and I don't have all the answers, I'm not going to pretend I do. I'm going to find someone who does. Because at the end of the day, I love this game. I think it's one of the best games I've ever played, and I really want to see more people enjoying it. So leave your comments in the comments below. Of course, if you like the video, leave a like. If you dislike the video, leave a dislike, because yeah, that's an option. And yeah, if you've just swung by and you haven't already, please do subscribe, because it makes me very, very happy. Anyway, guys, this has been Serge with another quick tips tutorial. And yeah, signing out.